any points that they've made this morning or interacting from each other. And then I will move to our very distinguished panellists as well. But President Ouattara, anything you would like to add to your 10 points that you set out so clearly today?
Je vous remercie, Madame l'administrateur. Je pense que j'ai assez parlé. Je vous ai dit, j'ai lu le discours que m'avait rédigé le Premier ministre. On m'a dit que c'était un discours qui a abordé la plupart des points. Donc je ne voudrais pas me répéter, sauf pour insister et dire qu'en réalité, comme je l'ai dit, l'émergence est un pari sur l'avenir et que l'avenir se planifie. Et nous avons donné des éléments importants, les 10 points qui nous paraissent essentiels pour donc parvenir à l'émergence. C'est important de dire que beaucoup de pays en Afrique sont déjà émergents, ce qui nous gratifie, et ceux d'entre nous qui voulons parvenir à cette émergence. En 2020, où j'ai convaincu le président Macky Sall que pour le Sénégal devrait être 2025. Voilà. Et donc, on a gagné 10 ans. Et par conséquent, il faut donc y croire, il faut y travailler. Et je voudrais surtout laisser donc l'opportunité aux autres panélistes de nous donner leur point de vue et remercier les responsables des différents États, des différentes institutions qui ont fait le déplacement d'Abidjan pour venir nous soutenir et nous éclairer. Je vous remercie, Madame l'administrateur.
Thank you, President Ouattara. President Macky Sall, your country is also on a race to the future with emergence. Would you like to pick up on any points President Ouattara has made this morning and elaborate on your own very fine speech?
Thank you very much. Je voudrais, à la suite du président Ouattara, indiquer que j'aimerais aussi entendre plutôt le récit des pays qui ont déjà fait le chemin de l'émergence. Nous avons ici la Chine, nous avons la Malaisie, nous avons l'Afrique du Sud, le parti des BRICS. Il serait indiqué pour nous d'entendre le success story de ces pays qui ont connu aussi la pauvreté, qui ont connu parfois la guerre, et qui se sont battus au fil des années, qui ont fini par réussir l'émergence et même le développement. Je retiens parmi les leçons données ce matin la question fondamentale de la gouvernance qui a comme corollaire l'état de droit. Je pense que c'est un aspect indispensable pour réussir l'émergence. Il y a aussi, nous l'avons dit, la paix. Et l'Afrique, malheureusement, au moment où elle est sur la rampe de lancement, et aujourd'hui la convoitise de toutes les forces de destruction. Ce qui fait que nous avons un défi nouveau qui se pose à nos objectifs de développement du millénaire. J'aimerais que les partenaires prennent cette dimension sécurité, paix et stabilité comme une dimension indispensable pour la réalisation de l'émergence. C'est une donnée nouvelle pour nous et il faudra faire face en toutes circonstances pour que l'Afrique continue sa marche vers le développement et puisse lutter contre le terrorisme, contre toutes les formes de déstabilisation qui s'opposent à notre niveau. Donc, pour le reste, je pense qu'on pourra revenir sur le panel. La dimension sécurité, paix et développement, la gouvernance, mais aussi les réformes économiques, les réformes dans le fonctionnement de nos administrations. Il faut faire face, puisqu'on ne peut pas avoir l'ambition d'une émergence et vouloir rester sur des acquis d'un autre âge. Donc il y a une transformation des mentalités qui doit accompagner les politiques d'émergence. Et je pense que c'est là où nous avons le plus de difficultés, puisqu'il faut changer de paradigme. Or, les gens, ils veulent rester sur des acquis qui ne peuvent peut-être pas prospérer, si nous voulons élargir la redistribution, réduire les inégalités sociales. Il faut donc que ceux qui sont aujourd'hui peut-être les plus privilégiés acceptent le principe de la solidarité, ce qui pourrait en tout cas se traduire non pas par une réduction de leurs acquis, mais par en tout cas une limitation de la progression des avantages à attendre, alors qu'il faudrait élargir la solidarité pour l'ensemble des populations. Voilà ce que je voudrais dire en vous redonnant la parole. Je vous remercie.
Thank you, Mr. President. Could I come to President Thabo Mbeki, who has led South Africa, a powerhouse of the regional economy, and ask Thabo if you would like to come in at this point.
I'm going to delegate to you. Yes. I'm going to delegate to you. Okay. Is that right? We've just negotiated an agreement here that I've delegated this task to him. Can we do it like that?
Well, President Mbeki is a very experienced negotiator. We see him negotiating many things, so I'm going to accept his negotiation and call on the Vice Foreign Minister of China. I think everyone is very familiar with the China story. China has had the most phenomenal movement out of poverty that humankind has ever seen, lifting hundreds of millions of people out. So China's emergence has excited the world for some decades now. So Foreign Minister, can we hear from you?
Thank you, Madam, and thank you, Mr. President. And Your Excellency, Alassane Ouattara, President of the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, Your Excellency Macky Sall, President of the Republic of Senegal, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Well, it gives me great pleasure to be here to attend the discussion today. And I wish to extend on behalf of the Chinese government warm congratulations on the convening of the conference and appreciation for the thoughtful preparations and arrangements by the government of Côte d'Ivoire and UNDP. And I'm here as a partner rather than a lecturer. I'd like to focus on China-Africa partnership to share my view on the emergence of Africa. And also I'm here as a learner to learn about how Côte d'Ivoire has made such great achievements in your economic growth. 9% growth rate in the past 3 years constantly. And Mr. President, I must confess, you have left China far behind. Well, in the last few years, I paid visits to Africa, which took me to almost all corners of the continent and enabled me to see changes and make discoveries firsthand. Today's Africa is a land brimming with the vigor and vitality. The increasing number of high-rises, expanding network of highways and railways, bustling streets, cleaner drinking water, better medical services, longer average life expectancy, more students in classrooms, mothers beaming with happiness, and the eyes of children sparkling with hope. And also more serious suffering from heavier traffic jam because of the increasing numbers of vehicles and private cars running all around in almost all the African cities and towns. And such scenes remind me of the early years of China's reform and opening up course, and reinforce my expectations for a better future for Africa. However, just as human history progresses amidst the twists and turns, Africa's journey of revitalization has not been smooth sailing, and is confronted with multiple challenges. Africa remains the most underdeveloped continent in the world, with a weak foundation for sustainable development and the daunting task of meeting the Millennium Development Goals. As Africa's good partner, friend, and brother, China rejoices the Africa's promising future and empathizes with Africa's difficulties in development. Looking back in the 1950s and the 60s, when China itself was faced with extreme hardships at home, we supported African brothers and sisters in pursuing national independence and political liberation. Looking ahead, in this new historical period, China will continue to support African countries in pursuing economic liberation, so that Africa's independence is rooted in a more solid and stable footing. China has the political commitment to support Africa's development. In 2013, my president, Mr. Xi Jinping, came to Africa on his first foreign trip as the head of state. He's laid down the principles for China's engagement with Africa, namely sincerity, real results, affinity, and good faith, and the guideline of upholding principles and pursuing shared interests, which sent a powerful signal of China's enduring commitment to valuing friendship with Africa and supporting Africa's development. Last year, my Premier, Mr. Li Keqiang, also visited Africa and put forward principles for 6 major areas of China-Africa cooperation, as well as the building of 3 major networks: a network of high-speed railway, a network of expressway, a regional aviation network, and painting a broad blueprint for cooperation between the two sides. China also has the rich experience which may serve as a reference for Africa. Back in China, we started from the North China, which was weak and poor, and turned the country into a land of initial prosperity and great development opportunities. This is a leapfrog of the traditional pathway for national development, during which we gained a rich governance experience on economic, political, social, ecological, and other fronts, and moved even closer to realizing the Chinese dream of great national renewal. We have not only fed 22% of the world's population with less than 9% of its arable land, but also significantly improved the Chinese people's lives. So all the experience can be shared with the fellow developing countries. Both China and Africa belong to the developing world. And we have a similar historical experience, development goals and visions. China's experience, as well as lessons, can be highly relevant and useful for Africa. China has the capability to help Africa realize its dream together with the international community. As the second largest economy and the largest developing country in the world, China has full-fledged industrial systems, advanced technologies, engineering construction capacities, quality yet affordable equipment, and relatively adequate development funds. These are exactly what is needed in Africa, setting the stage for the practical and mutually beneficial cooperation between China and Africa. According to Standard & Poor's measures, every 1 percentage point growth in China's GDP generates 0.3 percentage point growth in low-income African countries, and a 0.4 percentage point growth in the A study of IMF also shows that the China-Africa cooperation contributed 20% to African economic growth. Sustained medium-high level growth of the Chinese economy will be an important force propelling continued fast growth of Africa. China also has always been a firm advocate, supporter, promoter of, and participant in African development and prosperity. Since 2006, China has more than quadrupled its assistance to Africa, trained over 60,000 African personnel in various fields, and built more than 1,000 complete projects that are closely related to African people's welfare and development. At the same time, China has received and is expecting more assistance and support in many fields from Africa. For instance, when I was honored the day before yesterday to meet His Excellency President Ottawa, I congratulated His Excellency and Côte d'Ivoire soccer on winning the African Cup. And I also begged His Excellency to offer to help us saving China's soccer. Which has been a big headache for my people. I believe, Mr. President, China will be a real emerging power only when your kind assistance and the success As a Chinese saying goes, a gentleman should be true to his commitment and honor his commitment with concrete actions. This has long been a principle guiding the conduct of Chinese people. China has honored its commitment to Africa, with the concrete and the real efforts. Here, let me give you an example, which happened not long ago in Africa. That is the story of China's assistance for Africa in fighting Ebola. After the outbreak of the epidemic, China was the first to send the chartered flight carrying aids to the affected countries, prompting the following assistance of the international community to Africa. So far, China has provided aids worth 750 million renminbi and deployed nearly 1,000 medical workers. Apart from the three most severely affected countries, China also provided aids to Côte d'Ivoire and the other 9 countries in the neighborhood. These efforts have helped put up epidemic control in West Africa, making an important contribution to prevent the cross-border transmission and the end of the outbreak. Some may ask and provide such support to Africa. My answer is that, firstly, it's because of the profound friendship China has forged with Africa over the past half-centuries and more. And secondly, it is because of the greater convergence of interests and the shared destiny between the two sides. Although far apart geographically, China and Africa have been brought together by similar experiences and the common pursuit of national independence, peace, and development. We understand that in today's world of ours, when Africa prospers, China will prosper, and the whole world will prosper. If Africa falls ill, China will feel the pain, and the whole world will have to take pills. China will, so that is why China has always put Africa high on its agenda. This is a long-term policy underpinning China's diplomacy. Then one might ask further how China helps and supports Africa. China will continue to uphold the principles of sincerity, friendship, equality, and mutual benefit, win-win cooperation, and common development, and focus on the following areas. First, we will give full play to the role of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, FOCAC, and take concrete steps to bring tangible benefits to Africa's development. 2015 is an important year. This year marks the 15th anniversary of the founding of FOCAC, and the 6th ministerial conference of the FOCAC will be held in South Africa in this year. China will take the conference as the opportunity to introduce new measures for China-Africa cooperation over the next 3 years in accordance with Africa's needs and aspirations, as well as China's advantages and capability to assist Africa in its endeavor to eliminate poverty and achieve its development goals. Second, we will share experience on governance and support Africa in exploring its own development path. Many of our foreign friends are very curious about the secret of China's success. Actually, there is only one reason behind the quantum leap the Chinese nation has made from standing up to becoming strong. That is, we have stayed committed to a development path suited to our national conditions. We stand ready to further share with the African countries our hard-won experience in promoting economic growth and social progress, and continue more and contribute more Chinese wisdom, Chinese plans, and Chinese ideas for Africa's development, and help African countries to blaze an effective development path suited to their respected national conditions. Third, we will advance cooperation with Africa in building infrastructure and production capacity to promote Africa's economic takeoff. Right now, China is going through economic transformation and industrial upgrading, which gives a strong boost for many Chinese competitive industries to go global. Last year, China's outbound investment exceeded $100 billion, while Africa is accelerating industrialization and is in great need of infrastructure, capital, technology, industrial equipment, and management expertise, which make Africa an attractive destination for China's relocated industries. This provides an enormous potential and broad prospects for China and Africa to cooperate in infrastructure development and forge industrial complementarity. So not long ago, the Chinese government and the African Union signed the MOU on the promotion of cooperation in railway, road, regional aviation networks, and industrialization fields. China will actively support the Agenda 2063, adopted by the 24th AU Summit, which draws a master plan for Africa's development over the next 50 years. We will place greater emphasis on sharing with Africa how to fish rather than giving fish, and help Africa to build nests to attract phoenixes, so to speak. We will encourage and guide more Chinese companies to develop infrastructure, make investment, and start businesses in Africa in an effort to make cooperation on production capacity a new highlight in China-Africa cooperation, and help Africa advance industrialization and achieve economic takeoff. Fourth, we will be more active in playing a constructive role in Africa's peace and security affairs to help foster an enabling environment for Africa in development. Experience of China and other countries shows that without peace and stability, there can be no development. The political situation in Africa is on the whole stable, but in some areas, maintaining peace and stability remains a serious challenge. China will continue to deepen cooperation on peace and security with the AU and African countries, be more active in taking a constructive part in resolving the hotspot issues in Africa, and increase its support for African countries to independently address issues in the region. We are confident that with its growing capacity in maintaining peace and security independently, Africa will be able to maintain political and social stability and long-term security and realize sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, globalization has turned the world into a global village where no country can achieve development in isolation, and the common development can be realized only through cooperation. China's development is closely linked with that of Africa, and global prosperity is impossible without Africa. Progress of Africa will light up our planet home. To help and support Africa is the due responsibility and obligation of the international community. We call upon the international community to work together to further increase assistance and the investment in Africa, honor its commitment to Africa, and help Africa translate its potential strength in resources and human capital into real development advantages. As one of the cradles of human civilization, Africa has a glorious history. As our African friends tell us, if you want to walk fast, walk alone. If you want to walk far, work together. We are convinced that with the efforts of the African people and the assistance of the international community, this ancient land will realize its prosperity and revitalization and embrace a splendid new future. I wish the conference a complete success. Thank you. Merci. 谢谢。